Hey friends, it's Michael Golzmane here. You know, many people approach me with particular challenges, difficulties that they're facing in life. Oftentimes, if there's one area of challenge, there's often many areas of challenge happening seemingly simultaneously or accumulating over the course of time. The challenges often present as health challenges, financial challenges, career challenges, relationship challenges of the past or present. There might be, in particular, people who are very energetically sensitive. There might be the idea of feeling a spiritual oppression or blockage coming in that they don't know what to do with, or a sense of mental and emotional constriction, lack of joy, lack of ability to access happiness, peace, contentment, and fulfillment. So, just to backstep for a second, people approach me with this. My work is really focused around helping to delve deeply into the subconscious. And not just the subconscious from, say, your birth till now, which is certainly substantial in how it's creating your particular experience of life right now, but also the larger subconscious. This is known as the karmic database of your subconscious, and it extends back all the way to your initial spiritual creation. This is through hundreds of thousands of lifetimes that we've had here on Earth and in spiritual dimensions. All of the energy that has been believed, perceived by you, that's been energetically charged, often with strong emotion, in reaction to life circumstances happening in all of those lifetimes, that has not been released and processed by your soul yet, is still in effect for you now. It's part of that law of attraction. Whatever we strongly energize with our consciousness goes into operation and effect in our being. And this accumulation of all that has not been released and processed in our soul's history is creating our current experience of reality. Now, there's reality with a capital R. That reality is spirit. It is who you are. It is who I am. We are made in the image and likeness of spirit. We are one with spirit now. We are one with the divine. That's the truth of our being beneath all seeming challenges and problems. However, our own individual consciousness, in reactivity of anger and fear and contraction and misbelief and disbelief of our connection with spirit throughout hundreds of thousands of aspects of our soul's history, is creating our life experience now. Life experience is different than life, capital L, the truth of our being. Why don't you just take a deep breath on that? So right where you are, there is a perfection, a divine perfection that is the truth of your being right now, and there is your relative realm of experience based on everything that has been set in motion through your consciousness throughout your whole soul's history, minus what has been released and processed to date. So getting back to what I said earlier, people contact me, one major issue, one major problem, but they often will feel a tremendous amount of stuckness and blockage, sometimes in all major areas of life. Their inner feeling, their finance, their career, everything feels blocked, everything feels stuck. And they come to me wondering, what can I tell them? What can I possibly offer them? As maybe a quick email, or how would I guide them? And I wanted to create this video because my answers in broad ways are generally the same for everybody. The specifics of your individual case may vary, and that's where the individual clearing work can come in when we work with your own higher consciousness to be able to identify and resolve the energies that are still at play in your life that are creating this sense of blockage. However, the general principles are all the same for everyone. The principles of how we get through these challenges and difficulties are virtually the same for all of us, and I want to describe those here. First and foremost, that nothing in the past can or is victimizing you now. The past happened, yes it did. There might have been extreme circumstances in the past that you're aware of, some of which you're not aware of, perhaps from past lives, that are affecting you now. The circumstances are not affecting you anymore. The ramifications, though, and what your soul has held on to and reacted to and not processed about those circumstances is still affecting you. However, the point of your power to be able to heal and change is right now in this moment. There cannot be anything in the past that we can continue to blame in this moment for why we are the way we are now. I like to tell people to shift around the energy of blame to one of responsibility, saying, I'm not going to blame myself, I'm not going to blame the past. However, I have to take responsibility for where my energy is at, what my consciousness is doing right now based on everything that I've experienced in the past or present. And this point of the present moment is the only thing I have. And I can make a choice to experience reality differently. I may not know how to do that yet. I may not know the path there, but I can make a decision and a choice now to move forward in a different way. And I encourage you to do that. That's why I would recommend it to everybody. Secondly, there are two factors that are affecting you in whatever situation or problem you find yourself in right now. One factor is this accumulation of karma. Now, karma is not a punishment. It's not sent to you by some god up in the sky somewhere. Karma is simply the held, unprocessed energy of your soul's history that you have created. You didn't know you were creating it. You don't need to blame yourself. You do need to take responsibility for it, though, and say, I need to find my way into releasing and clearing this. Nobody else can do it for you. Now, there can be facilitation of that clearing process. This is one of the roles and functions I have in my client work, in my group clearing work, and audio downloads from my site, is to help facilitate that for people. But I'm not doing it for you. I'm simply holding the space and connecting with your own higher consciousness while this large amount of past unresolved energy gets released. So, and this is a process that takes time. Releasing the karma of the past helps you to become freer in the present moment. It helps you as soon as, and many people who have had clearings or experienced any of my other videos where there's some clearing work taking place, recognize that as soon as you release even a few beliefs in self-hatred, for instance, or a few pieces of unfinished business around your past history, you begin to feel an equivalent amount of freedom in the present moment. It's like you're letting go of a heavy weight of karma and you immediately sense the shift now. That's one of the two parts of what you can do about your problems or challenges now. The other part is that you have to take responsibility for your present moment consciousness. What are you thinking now? What are you feeling now? What are you creating now? The present moment consciousness is your creative edge. It's the place where you are continuing to create energy that is creating your experience of reality. It's aligning you more with your true spiritual essence, or it's separating you more from your true spiritual essence. The energies of fear, contraction, shame, guilt separate you more from the truth of your consciousness. The energies of love, appreciation, peace, joy, these energies create a sense of uplift and deeper connection with your inner spiritual truth. The only way to access the power of this moment in knowing what you're creating and being able to adjust what you're creating to be more in alignment with what it is that you want is spiritual practice, committed, daily, moment-by-moment spiritual practice. This could include meditation, this could include chanting, this could include spiritual reading, spiritual music, connecting in spiritual community. This could also include fasting from certain things, like fasting from certain types of news media, or negative music, or negative conversations. There's many different types of practices that we could incorporate, and they will vary depending on the person. These practices have to be done with commitment. They have to be done with sincerity, and they have to be done continuously, because the pull of this physical earth plane that we're in, the pull of this physical environment, this five sense reality, is going to be to try to pull you out of your spiritual connection and to try to make you believe that only what you can see and feel with your five senses are what exists. And in order for you to tap into that deeper truth of your life, capital L, not just your past life experience, but the truth of your inner life within your being, you have to get below the level of simply your thoughts, simply what you perceive with your senses, and deeply sense what's called the sort of spiritual click. In a moment of spiritual practice, you awaken, you connect into that inner presence within your being. And that moment begins to become longer and longer and more sustained the more you move down your spiritual path. So, I want to say in conclusion here that there are no causes to your problems in spirit. I've just gotten through saying that the causes to your problems are in your soul records and in your present moment awareness, but in spirit, in the truth of who you are, there are no problems, there are no challenges, there are no difficulties. At that level of the truth of your being, problems are not solved, problems aren't even resolved, they dissolve. Problems do not exist at that level. Now, it's a ways on your spiritual journey to be able to get to a point of feeling so strongly within yourself, your connection to your own inner reality and your own inner light, that even when challenges, difficulties, things to resolve in your present moment experience come about, you don't look at those as problems or challenges anymore. You say, oh, I absolutely know I am one with spirit and I can rise to meet this challenge. So I want to say to you, to recap here, clearing and releasing as much as possible with regularity, with depth, with ongoingness, your soul records, your subconscious. This takes time. This takes facilitated clearing work over time. It's an important part of the process. And what you can do starting immediately is to commit to your spiritual practice. Develop one if you don't have one already. Begin to open to the possibility of connecting with your own inner light. And as you do that, you will begin to resolve the challenges. Oftentimes, all the challenges in your life will begin to resolve one by one or all together, because they all come from the same root. They all eventually come to the sense of separation from spirit, the belief that I've condemned myself, unresolved energy of self-hatred or forgiveness I'm holding on to, unforgiveness I'm holding on to about myself and others. These are all gradations of the larger energy of sense of separation, denial of the truth of our being. That's the only problem any of us ever have. The only problem any of us ever have is not feeling and knowing our oneness with spirit. How do we get back to that place? Spiritual practice every day and eventually every moment of every day. And clearing away, resolving the past, resolving the karma. This is a very important part of the process, and it's the part that I work with people to facilitate. So I want you to take a deep breath, know that there is hope and potential for you. Keep moving down this path. Keep opening, keep releasing. You have to do the work. It is your own consciousness that has created the life that you are having now and nothing else. Other people can facilitate. I can facilitate. A therapist could facilitate. A minister could facilitate. Someone trusted on the healing path and spiritual path with you could facilitate, but they cannot do the work for you no matter how much they love you, no matter how talented or skilled they are. You have to do the work. And I encourage you to get started now. So, friends, I encourage you to be in touch. If you have questions, you have comments, in light of this video, please feel free to be in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, friends, thanks for watching. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.